All right, so today we post run a couple miles just to try to stay with it. I used to talk about how I would run every day, whatever, what have you. Sometimes we all go through a time when we just ain't feeling that no more. You lose all ambition, you lose everything you want to do, you just kind of lose the wants, drives, and everything. Today, that's kind of how I want to address things. I don't really have a timeline of when I put videos online or when I record them. You guys pretty much get to see it when I do it. I don't really save stuff up. Just kind of what comes onto my mind and how I'm feeling. Like I said, I use a lot of this as an outlet for me. It does help me in general, so I am super appreciative of it. But I think today what I want to really address is the idea of, honestly, probably humbleness to yourself, especially in the face of when you think you have it all. You know, in life, I've had pretty much many times where, as growing up, I had a bunch of money. Out of college, I got a good job, had a bunch of money, had to lose it all, made a bunch of money, had to lose it all. I've had items, had to lose them all. And the one thing I never lost really was myself for the longest time. I just never really thought that I could lose myself. I thought, well, I was above all that. I thought that I was the strongest thing there was mentally, physically, whatever. When it comes to everything else, I don't think it's a big of an issue. I just kind of look at things like it doesn't make a difference. I can handle it no matter what. You don't realize that you're not really being humble. You're not really realizing that you're going to get humbled in life, whether it be from yourself, whether it be from a relationship, a friendship, whether it be the higher power, man, that just brings your world a hurting. And that's what I think is super important because, we go through life and we think that we are holding up everything. We think that, we're Samson out here or we are the strongest man in the planet and, we can carry everything on our shoulders. And it comes out to be that that's not really how it's going. You end up really losing yourself in that regard because you assume and you're almost cocky to that effect. And you're going to get humbled one way or another. Doesn't matter when it is. It doesn't matter how it comes. It may not even come in the way that you think it will, but it will come. And I think that that's super important to understand. You know, Sometimes the smallest lessons can give you these huge results. It can really make you think, what is going on in your life? Why are things crashing down? And, I can tell you that within the last year or two, I've lost a lot of things that were more mental than it was physical. I may have lost people in my life who were some of the greatest things ever. I may have lost myself mentally, thinking that I could control it all and just kind of slowly but surely lost pieces. Damn near lost jobs, lost just the feeling of being able to control everything, which you can't. And really losing yourself mentally, I think, is a huge thing. Losing the feeling of you got your own back, losing the feeling of understanding your feelings. You think that when you're angry, it's just because you're mad at something, and that's not always the case. You could be lonely, you could be upset, you could honestly just be lost. And because you're lost, you just get angry about it, and you don't even realize that that's really the anger isn't the primary thing. It's really that you're lost. And being lost mentally or soulfully really is tough. I mean, that's some of the hardest things to deal with because you don't always recognize it. You don't always see it coming. A lot of people will sit there and they'll tell you, man, why are you being an asshole? Or man, why are you so down? Or why are you acting this way? Or why are you making these bad choices? Not realizing that a lot of that is a cry for help inside of you that you just don't understand. And I think that being humbled by that situation and losing everything, not material, not cars, not houses, money, anything like that, but losing yourself, I think, is the biggest humbling experience. And you can have a couple of those in your life. I think that it's not just a one-time deal, but the problem is it's a one-time deal if you change your behaviors off of it. I've gone through life and I know that there's been little lessons that I might have gotten and I might have understood, but I didn't really change behaviors. And then over time, they just start compiling until they really hit this mecca or this huge stage where they just come crashing down and it's about to tear you down. And it may not rebuild you the same way. It may not rebuild you right away. That's also a thing. Understanding that everything isn't right now. We get pushed on social media and the way we search for stuff, and hell, even YouTube. It's like boom, boom, boom. You want something, you can find it. You need something, you can do it. You want to change this, you can do it. Oh, if you don't like these people in your life, just change them. Get somebody else, get somebody else, get somebody else. And while that is true to a point, if they're a negative thing for you, it's also sometimes that positive person has to be a little bit negative for you to understand what negativity is going on inside of you. And that's the biggest thing. I think that using the crutch of how you are in your life, and how you're living and thinking that that's okay, you think that, well, yeah, I was humbled. Oh, I was humbled. But then you do the same behaviors. That's not being humbled. That's being cocky and saying to yourself, well, in reality, I'm too good to change. I'm too good to make those changes that you need to. The difference that was supposed to be made, I'm too good for that. And that's what will tear you down even worse. That's what really comes and destroys your life. Because as you continue to go against the grain and continue to compile these bad things, when you should have took a step back to understand what was going on in the grand scheme of things, that's the harder down slope you're going to have. That's the worst situation you're going to have when it comes to being humbled. Yeah, I'm trying to be more open and talk about my problems to people that are close to me or in general. I think so many times we overlook that because we think, well, you got to be the strongest person ever, and you can be the strongest person ever while still communicating. That makes no difference on if you're strong or not. You can still maintain people in your life. You can still maintain helping others. You can still maintain helping yourself or keeping a super strong mindset, even with super crazy adversity going on in your life. You can still manage all of that while still having communication and not throwing out people from your life. I think so many times we just overlook that and we get so cocky. And there's so many outside factors that drive all that. When I was growing up, social media wasn't really like that. It was there, but it wasn't your life. Now it's your entire life. I mean, I got rid of all my stuff. I ain't got nothing like that for a reason, because you just find yourself scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and trying to be like everybody else. And on the topic of us getting humbled, you can't be like everybody else. You can't be like these people who have all this money. You just don't have that right now. But it's a want that you want that. It's not a need right now. Sometimes your needs in the beginning are the most important things, but your wants can get you in trouble. I know for me, a big example I would have to say is giving people the time that I shouldn't give time. I'm a huge helper. I believe in helping everybody. That's why the career I do. I believe in saving every single life I ever can. I just don't believe in failure. I believe in success in every manner. I push success for everybody in my life. And there's been people who were good in my life who were amazing people and amazing just in every way. And you don't realize as you're pushing yourself for success, you're just not doing it right for everything else, you know? Um, it's important to realize that sometimes that communication, even if you're upset, communicate that you're upset. Don't just be upset. Don't just act upset. Verbalize, I'm upset. Verbalize, hey, I'm feeling something. Something's weird. Because you verbalizing that lets people understand that something's going on, not you just going off a tangent and acting a fool and being bipolar acting. That's not going to get you there. because then people are just going to assume that you're unstable where you might be unstable. You might have those situations, but at the end of the day, if you're asking for help or you're trying to get help because you want to communicate, that to me, that'll make you show that you are humbled out. Because so many times you cannot say anything, act like an asshole basically, and it is what it is. Nobody's going to be there around for you. You can't even be around for yourself when you're acting like that because you're just being so negative. You literally are negative on yourself. Don't think that just your negativity and you being um, egotistical or narcissist, whatever, you not being humble to things is negative to everybody else. And boy, when they come crashing down and when life comes crashing down to humble you, it can be some of the most wicked stuff you've ever experienced. You will lose everything. You will. It may not even seem like it, but you're going to lose it all. You have to. There's no other way to rebuild what you need out of your life if you're not losing everything. If you don't go to the bare bones minimum and have to rebuild yourself, there's no way that that lesson was learned. There's just none. You got to be humbled in that way to recognize and understand and go after everything that you want in life. Life is so hard every day, and some people have it so much harder. Some people are digging in mines their entire life in another country with no food, no water. Bro, life is hard, but they can change it. So can you. There's no excuse. There's no actual excuse to say why you can't do it. None. You just got to understand that you got to be humbled and recognize that, hey, I'm lost. Hey, I need some help. Figure out what you got to do to get that help. Go after therapy. Go after the person that's around you the most. Just reach out, but humble yourself to understand that you're going to have to lose everything to become something. And if you don't change from being humbled, then you were truly never humbled and you weren't deserving of what good can come out of being humbled. That's the biggest problem. So just keep doing whatever you do, keep trying to be the best you can. Like I said, I appreciate y'all listening, and I try to, just as my mind works, I try to bring up topics. This helps me as much as I hope it helps somebody else. And I just truly appreciate every one of y'all. And hopefully it makes a difference in some fashion. So